The sun hung low, casting a golden hue over the vast expanse of the dense forest. Tall pine trees stood like sentinels, their needles rustling softly in the gentle breeze. A carpet of fallen leaves crunched underfoot as four friends, Liam, Chloe, Marcus and Emily, made their way deeper into the woods. Their steps were light, their spirits high. Liam, the group's natural leader, led the way, his compass in hand, ensuring they stayed on course. Chloe and Emily walked side by side, their fingers brushing the wildflowers that dotted their path, while Marcus, ever the joker, occasionally disappeared behind trees, only to jump out in playful attempts to startle the others. Their backpacks, heavy with camping gear, didn't dampen their enthusiasm. Laughter echoed as they shared memories of previous trips and speculated about the adventures this new journey would bring. The scent of fresh pine, the chirping of birds returning to their nests, and the distant sound of a babbling brook set the scene for what they anticipated would be a perfect getaway. As twilight descended, the forest took on a more somber mood. The once golden sky was now a canvas of deep purples and blues, and a chilling mist began to rise from the ground, wrapping around the trees like ghostly tendrils. The group, guided by the dwindling light, found a clearing by a secluded lake. The water was eerily still, reflecting the darkening sky above, and every so often, ripples would disturb its surface, though no cause could be seen. While the others began setting up the tents, Emily, drawn to the lake's edge, felt an inexplicable compulsion to explore further. Her footsteps were muffled by the thick moss underfoot, and the deeper she ventured, the more oppressive the silence became. It was in this heavy quiet that she stumbled upon the old journal, its leather cover worn and pages yellowed with age. It lay half buried under a mound of damp leaves, as if it had been discarded or perhaps purposely hidden. The journal's discovery sent a shiver down Emily's spine. She brushed off the dirt and opened it, revealing faded writing and sketches of the forest. The entries hinted at tales of a family that once called this forest home, but had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The last few pages were torn, leaving the ending of their story a haunting enigma. Feeling a sudden cold breeze on her neck, Emily looked up to find that darkness had fully settled, and the campfire's glow in the distance was the only beacon guiding her back to her friends. The forest, with its deep shadows and whispering winds, seemed to watch her every move. Night had fully embraced the forest, swallowing every hint of natural light. The campfire flickered, casting eerie, dancing shadows that seemed to play tricks on the eyes. The trees around them creaked and groaned, as if sharing whispered secrets with the wind. As the friends huddled around the fire, a dense fog began to roll in from the lake, enveloping the campsite in a cold, clammy embrace. The air grew thick, making every breath feel laborious. The once familiar surroundings now seemed alien and menacing. Suddenly, the faint, haunting melody of a lullaby pierced the silence, echoing through the trees. It was a woman's voice, ethereal and sorrowful, singing a tune none of them recognized. The source of the voice was impossible to pinpoint, as if the forest itself was mourning a long-lost soul. Chloe, her eyes wide with fear, clutched Liam's arm. "Do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Before he could answer, a bone-chilling scream rent the air, making everyone jump. It was distant, yet felt uncomfortably close, a cry of anguish that seemed to resonate with the very core of the forest. Marcus, trying to keep a brave face, chuckled nervously. "Probably just a fox or some animal," he suggested, though doubt was evident in his voice. Emily, clutching the journal to her chest, wasn't so sure. She felt an inexplicable connection between the diary's tales and the eerie events unfolding around them. As the night deepened, the strange occurrences escalated. Shadows moved just beyond the firelight, always just out of clear view, but undeniably there. Whispers filled the air. Conversations from long ago, indistinct but persistent. Every rustle, every twig snap heightened their paranoia. Then, the most unsettling event of all, footsteps began to circle their campsite. They were soft, deliberate, and paced evenly. Marcus, summoning his courage, decided to investigate. He grabbed his flashlight, its beam cutting through the fog, and ventured into the dense darkness, leaving the others in anxious anticipation. The campfire's flames had reduced to soft embers, casting a dim glow that barely held the encroaching darkness at bay. Emily sat cross-legged, the old journal open on her lap, its pages illuminated by a lantern's soft light. The others, drawn by curiosity, huddled close, their faces a tapestry of fascination and apprehension. Each page Emily turned revealed intricate sketches of the forest, detailed maps of forgotten pathways, and beautifully penned entries. The handwriting was elegant, each curve and flourish speaking of a time long past. As she read aloud, the words seemed to dance and come alive, weaving a spellbinding narrative. The journal spoke of the Watchers, spirits bound to the forest. They were once a family, living harmoniously with nature, their days filled with joy and laughter. Yet, an underlying tone of melancholy hinted at a looming tragedy. A series of entries described a forbidden ritual, an attempt to gain eternal life by merging their souls with the forest. However, something went awry, and they became trapped between realms, neither fully living nor truly dead. As Emily read, the wind seemed to carry the echoes of the family's laughter, their whispered conversations, and their mournful laments. The trees swayed in a rhythmic dance, as if reacting to the tale being unveiled. Chloe, entranced by the story, reached out to touch one of the sketches, a depiction of a grand oak tree with deep-set hollows resembling eyes. To her astonishment, the sketch felt warm, its lines pulsating as if imbued with life. Marcus's empty chair served as a chilling reminder of their current predicament. Yet for those brief moments, the group was lost in the journal's world, hoping that understanding the past might offer a clue to their friends' whereabouts and the mysteries of the forest. The weight of Marcus's absence was palpable, turning the group's initial concern into mounting panic. The once harmonious sounds of the forest now felt like a cacophony of threats, each rustling leaf, each distant hoot, feeding their growing dread. Chloe, her face pale under the lantern's glow, jumped at every shadow, her eyes darting around as if expecting to see Marcus emerge from the fog. "We need to find him now," she exclaimed, her voice a mix of desperation and fear. Liam, trying to maintain a semblance of calm, organized a search plan. "We'll split into pairs. Emily, you're with me. Chloe, take a flashlight and stay close to the campsite. Call out to him and listen for any response." Venturing into the heart of the forest, Liam and Emily's footsteps seemed deafeningly loud, each crunch and snap echoing ominously. The dense fog distorted their vision, turning familiar landmarks into grotesque silhouettes and playing tricks on their minds. At one point, Emily, certain she'd seen a fleeting figure, cried out for Marcus, but her calls were met with an unsettling silence. Suddenly, a high-pitched scream, undeniably Chloe's, shattered the quiet, sending Liam and Emily sprinting back to the campsite. They arrived to find Chloe frozen in terror, pointing towards the lake. There, illuminated by the moonlight filtering through the clouds, were ghostly footprints appearing one by one on the water's surface, leading away from the shore. The realization hit them hard. The forest wasn't just alive with natural creatures, it was haunted by memories and entities beyond their understanding. The urgency to find Marcus and escape this nightmarish realm became more pressing than ever. The first light of dawn painted the sky with melancholic hues of lavender and grey, but the beauty of the morning brought no solace to the weary trio. Exhaustion etched their faces, but sleep was an elusive luxury, overshadowed by the terror of the night and the loss of Marcus. Chloe, her voice hoarse from hours of calling out to Marcus, sat by the extinguished campfire, clutching his jacket to her chest. Tears streamed down her face, each drop a testament to the bond they shared and the gaping void his absence had created. Liam, his usual composed demeanor shattered, paced the campsite's perimeter with increasing agitation. "We should have never come here," he muttered repeatedly, each utterance a blend of guilt and frustration. Emily, the weight of the journal's tales pressing on her, gazed out at the lake. The once serene waters now seemed vast and ominous. The ghostly footprints from the night before had vanished, but the haunting image was seared into her mind. "The Watchers have him," she whispered, a chilling conclusion drawn from the journal's cryptic warnings. The eerie stillness of the forest was occasionally broken by the distant, mournful cries of birds, amplifying the group's sense of isolation. Their hopes of finding Marcus were dwindling, replaced by the grim possibility that he had become another lost soul in the forest's haunting annals. Every sound, every movement heightened their anxiety. The forest, once a haven of natural beauty, had transformed into a maze of dread and despair. The pressing need to leave was countered by their unwillingness to abandon Marcus, leaving them trapped in a torturous limbo. Morning had fully broken, but the golden rays of the sun did little to warm the desolate atmosphere of the campsite. The tents, once symbols of their anticipated adventure, now stood as sad reminders of the night's horror. Liam, his face unshaven and eyes bloodshot from sleeplessness, methodically began to pack up their belongings. Each fold of the tent, each clink of the camping gear seemed to echo in the stifling silence, magnifying their loss. Chloe, drained of tears but not of sorrow, mechanically assisted, her movements slow and heavy. Every now and then, she'd stop, gazing into the forest with a mix of hope and despair, half expecting Marcus to emerge with his trademark grin, assuring them it was all a prank. Emily, clutching the worn-out journal, sat at the edge of the lake, her reflection distorted in the rippling water. She whispered a prayer, an appeal to the watchers or any benevolent spirit that might be listening. Her voice, soft and tremulous, carried a plea for Marcus's safety and their forgiveness for intruding upon the forest's sacred ground. As the group, bound by a wordless pact, made their final preparations to leave, the wind carried a haunting lullaby, the same melody from the previous night. It seemed to be both a farewell and a warning, reminding them of the forest's mysteries and the price of curiosity. With heavy hearts and the weight of an incomplete journey bearing down on them, the trio began their somber trek out of the forest, leaving behind a chapter of their lives they'd never truly close. The world outside the forest felt jarringly different, almost surreal. The cacophony of city life was a stark contrast to the eerie stillness they had left behind. The trio's return was met with a mix of relief and concern from family and friends, but the shadow of Marcus's absence loomed large, casting a pall over their reunion. Days turned into weeks, but the memories of the forest remained as vivid as ever. Nightmares plagued them, replaying the chilling events over and over, with Marcus's face always just out of reach. One evening, as Chloe was trying to find some semblance of normalcy, she began unpacking her backpack, which had remained untouched since their return. Buried beneath her clothes was an old, tarnished locket. Its presence was baffling. She had no recollection of ever seeing it, let alone packing it. With trepidation, she pried it open. Inside was a faded photograph of the family from the journal, but what truly sent chills down her spine was the sight of Marcus, standing beside them, his eyes vacant and distant. The locket seemed to pulse with a cold energy, and inscribed on its inner surface were the words, "Remember us." Chloe, her hands trembling, showed the locket to Liam and Emily. The shared look of horror and realization between them spoke volumes. The forest, though miles away, had left an indelible mark on their souls. As the days wore on, the locket became an enigma they couldn't solve. It was a haunting reminder of their lost friend and the price they paid for venturing into the unknown. Whether a gift or a curse, it served as a bridge between two worlds, ensuring the trio would never forget the mysteries of the forest and the friend they left behind. If this tale has sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you might think. Have your own eerie tales or thoughts on this one? Dive into the comments below and share your haunting experiences and reflections with us. We're eager to hear your mysterious stories and spooky thoughts. Know someone who loves a good scare? Share this video to bring them into our circle of horror aficionados. Let's spread the chills and thrills together. Craving more haunting tales and spine-tingling encounters? Subscribe and hit the bell icon to join our journey into the unknown and never miss a chance to shiver in fright again. Welcome to our coven of the curious, our sanctuary for the sinister and our haven for the horrific.